Hello, 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 everybody. I am checking out some new equipment. So if you guys are around, I would appreciate a little feedback. Let me know if things are working, things were said, stuff was happening, you know, all the cool stuff. So if you could let me know, I would appreciate that. And, oh, uh, oh, is this live thing on? Jeez. Uh, Hi, folks. Let me see if this is working. Where are you? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm working on some new stuff. I don't know why did it start streaming without me? Or just a chat? I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can hear me. I don't know any feedback. If you can let me know what's going on, I can. Yeah. Okay, so you guys are starting to hear me. Oh no, where did the chat go? No. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, Windows, you fickle. All right. So I'm trying to figure out some stuff. So here's what happened. Um, the universe blessed me, and I just happened to be at the exact right place at the exact time with the right coupon and the stars came together, and I got an amazing deal on this computer, like 40% of what I'd normally pay. For this computer, and so I finally pulled the trigger and made a bit of an upgrade. So hopefully, this one has faster hamsters that will spin the wheel. And the problem is, I've been a Mac guy for like 8 years, and I bought a PC because I was getting really ticked off with some of the Mac stuff that I was dealing with. That being said, I don't know how the hell to use a Mac. I mean a PC. I'm sorry. I don't know how to use a PC. So I've been bugging my friends and bugging my everybody I know. Like, hey, how the hell do I do anything on this? So this is my first stream from here, and I need to test to see if everything's working right and that life is good. So I see that you guys are on here, and let me say hi to some folks. I don't know why Kath Christensen from my Kiwi friend and Tracy. Oh, Branky, nice to meet you. It's I hope they came back. I don't know if they did or not, but it was Lava Girl and Dan from the Hills. As I get going, this is going to be like a process getting this more and more situated. Um, but today I just wanted to see if I could actually stream and the sound would work. And yeah, the clock keeps stopping, man. I'm gonna have to pull that thing apart and fix it. And you know, as much as I brag about that clock, it seems to stick easy all the time. So yeah, this is my deal. I'm dealing with a PC now, so I don't know. And I got a gigantic monitor, so now my webcam is like on top of the ceiling. I don't know how to put it down. So you guys, like, this is the lowest I can get it to go. Maybe I can get it to go there. Hold on, there. How about that? Is that better? But now you can't see the cool Christmas lights there. I mean, I put those up just for Christmas. This is the old school ceramics. Uh, so there we go. I'm just testing this, and I want to see if I can play something. And here's the thing: I can't figure out how necessarily to show the screen and keep it in this little box. I could show the screen and make it full screen. So let me see what's going on with that. This is a full screen chat. And I'm going to play a video. Okay, this was like a year ago. I did a Christmas special on how to do stuff for but the thing is you're going to see my entire screen when I do this, so I don't know how the hell to crop it so you're only seeing what I want you to look at, unless maybe I can do a window. Hold on, I got an idea. Maybe I can do just a window stream. I have an idea. Give me 1 second. You guys are just going to have to be patient because I'm going to be playing with all these settings until I figure this out. And you guys will be like, oh, okay, well, that guy's cool because he's playing with settings. And he's that cool that he can make that happen. Alright, let's see. This makes no sense. Why are you making no sense? That's my Italian right there. That's as good as it gets. So, sorry for you people that are actual Italians. Did that just turn everything black?
Crap.
Yes, I think it did. Okay, so let's turn that off. Let me see. Alright. Let's keep going here, guys. I want to keep playing with this until I figure this out. So, man, these are big. This is something I'm not used to. Is I have a giant monitor now, so I like everything's gigantic on it. I don't know what to do. It's a little bit of confusing. So, window capture. Let me try this again. I gotta figure out these properties. So, it should be able to capture my Chrome, right? And it's like, where is Unirock when you need him? Alright, match title. I don't know. Alright, so I'm just gonna have to show you my full screen because I can't stop it. So here we go, guys. Volume slightly lower here, Doc. Okay, so maybe that's because I'm mumbling. Let's see if I can jack the. No, the volume is pretty much maxed here, but I better turn this down. I'm gonna play the audio on the desktop and show you it. So let me see if you can see this full audio.
Fantastic and weird holiday specials. At the bottom of my list is Santa Conquers the Martians. And now, this is a strange movie in the first place, but really I'm going to recommend that you watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of this movie, because it's way, way funnier. I've seen them both. Mystery Science Theater really makes this movie much more entertaining and endurable.
So this is a thing I did last year about...
The thing about this movie is it's a strange movie. I think it was done in the 50s, and... you know, everything was about Martians then. They had all these TV shows about Martians. So, of course, Santa had to meet the Martians. And there's a clumsy plot line where these kids get kidnapped by Martians, and Santa gets kidnapped by Martians, and they're on Mars. And, of course, the people of Mars have no clue what Christmas is about, so he has to teach the Martians what Christmas is about. And there's some bad guys. For some reason, they don't like Santa. It's spreading cheer on Mars. And that's really about as deep as this plot goes. The rest of this is just a bunch of nonsense silliness that it's kind of like fluff they just put in. There is a comic relief character named Droppo, which is horribly annoying. And what's funny about this movie is it is Pia Zadora's very first movie, so you can see what she looks like as a little kid. Later on, she goes on to be, you know, the sex siren, and it's pretty funny to see that. So, the other thing about this movie is that it builds up to this big climax where Santa gets kidnapped, and they have to use toys to escape, and they attack the Martians with toys Santa made in his factory. I don't know. It just gets worse and worse. But eventually, at the end of the movie, Santa gives the comic relief character Droppo his blessing to be Martian Santa Claus. And yeah, so complete waste of time of a movie unless you're watching the Mystery Science Theater version of it. Then it's really fun, and it's just a wacky movie that's like, why was this ever made?
Okay, let's see if I can get... Okay, so you like the sound is good on that, but I'm quiet, right? Which means I need to actually change my whole... I need to change my actual mic input. So how do you do that on a PC? Is there like a control panel for mics that you can change the input? Oh, you and your PC folks. I can't believe I crossed over to the PC side. I was gonna go Linux, but I just didn't have enough balls to do it, honestly. Let's see, sound, recording, microphone. There it is. Okay. USB device, right? Oh no, it's right here. Okay, how about that? Is that a better sound? Let's find out. Check, check. Did that better sound? Or did that just kill my sound? Master sound. Yes, Doc, master sound. Okay, mic. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there is. So I go to control and input. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing so you can see what I'm doing. Hold on. Let me, full desktop. Okay. So now I'm going to go to control panel. And then you guys are saying what to do. Control panel. What am I supposed to do here? I assume I go to sound, or do I go to... Is there sound, right? Mic? I'm going to go to sound. So here's sound. Now, my recording device should be my webcam. So it should be this. Do I have to hit apply? How do I set that as... How do I set this? Configure? Use this mic? What is going on? How do I do this? Alright. Okay. How do I apply it? Like, if I hit OK, it just ends it. Alright, something's not right here. Okay, set as default device. I have to set it as a default device to make it work? That's kind of strange. Okay, so I click this and then I set as default device. Okay. Hit OK. Right? Did that do it? I don't think that did it. All right. No, it's... Oh, it is marked. Now, is my sound terrible now or better? Now, how do I actually turn up the master volume for the sensitivity of the mic? Okay, set as default. Okay, got that. So how do I turn this up, man? That's what I must know. I must know this right here. Teach me. Do I hit properties or something? Levels? Ah. Alright, that's all I got though? Okay. Alright, well, I guess that's the best sound you're going to get out of me. Oh, mic gain. Where's the mic gain? It is better. Oh my god, Doc, that hat. What, the old Christmas hat? I don't know, I've never used a PC in like 10 years, Liz. I don't know where mic gain is. Can you guys tell me, is it under control panel? Where is it? Yeah, I had it at 100. I set that, but I think that's just, I mean, it seems quiet for 100. I was hoping I could jack it up a little more, but I guess that's it. All right. Let's see how this sounds on... Oh, okay. Well, let me see how it compares to this. I'm going to play some more craptastic Christmas special things I made.
Number 9's actually in here because it's truly a crappy movie. I wouldn't even really call it a craptastic, but I had to kind of put it in.
Yeah,
I had to put one really bad movie in. And for you guys that didn't know this, I didn't know this until my girlfriend pointed this out, that there are 2 Christmas Vacation movies. That's right. The first one's awesome. Everybody loves it. The second one you've probably never heard of. It's called Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
The vid quality
Now,
is
the
good?
whole thing is they take Randy Quaid, which is Cousin Eddie from all the Vacation movies, which he's awesome in the Vacation movies. He's probably my favorite part in character in the Vacation movies, but they try to get him to carry an entire movie on his own. Oh, wow. This was a disaster. And it really, they take a couple of the jokes that were in the first dozen, whatever, vacation movies, and they rehash them. So, like, they make jokes about every 10 minutes about the plate in his head. And, like, the plate can zap bugs, and the plate can, attracts metal. And it's like this ridiculous storyline that just keeps going and going. And then, they take their dog that stinks, Snot, and they remind you he stinks every 5 minutes in the movie. They'll make the dog fart, or somebody will complain about how much the dog stinks, and it just doesn't matter. Like, the joke's not funny anymore. Eddie starts out by getting a free trip to Hawaii. He gets it because he's working with a monkey that bites him in the butt. That's funny somehow. But before they leave, some reason there's a plumbing problem that Eddie creates, and this sight gag goes on for like, oh God, almost like 5 minutes of them trying to stop a plumbing leak. And it's supposed to be funny, but it's not. It's terrible. This continues as they fly out to the island. You get to watch Eddie on the airplane and some humor there. And then they accidentally rent a boat that gets stranded on this island, and they decide to set up life there, and they have a Christmas there. Now, this movie is called Christmas Vacation. There's about 30 seconds of Christmas in this movie. It has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas. They kind of just like push it in there that it happens to be Christmas Day on the island when they're trapped. That's it. Not like, the first one where the whole thing revolves around a bunch of funny Christmas mishaps. So if you think Christmas Vacation 2 is anything like the first one, you're going to be sorely mistaken, and you're going to waste a ton of time. I don't even understand this movie. Some reason he becomes a pilot and has a monkey as a co-pilot. I don't even know where they were going. And, for you guys that actually keep up with the news, you remember that the main character, Randy Quaid, he disappeared a few years ago and went to Canada with his wife. And nobody really knew what happened to him. And they finally caught up with him, and he said he ran to Canada because the Illuminati was trying to kill him. And he was worried for his life, and I think they brought him back to the U.S. And I really think that maybe the whole reason the Illuminati was trying to kill him is because of this movie, that he made this movie, and they're just trying to erase it from the earth, all parts of it, because it was that bad. So save yourself some time and don't watch this one.
Okay. All right, so let me go back to... take that off. Okay, if you guys can hear that okay. I kind of, I haven't, it's weird. When I do old stories, I just put them in a bank and I never watch them again. So when I watch this, it's like watching a whole different person do stories. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember this. I forgot I did this. So if you guys don't know, one of my hobbies and fascinations in life is crappy movies. God, do I love crappy movies. And I'm a connoisseur of crap. And so I made a list last year of Christmas movies that were just horrible. Craptastic Christmas movies. And so they're pretty fun. If you want to keep watching some of this, I'm just chilling and I kind of want to test it. But what I'm trying to figure out is, you guys can see like me typing on here and doing things, and I cannot seem to figure out how the hell to capture the window of just YouTube. So I need to figure this out. It's properties, because I'd like to show you the movie without you guys like seeing me type in chat, and because that's like weird, and it's kind of creepy that you can watch me chat. Although that's totally what I guess people want behind the scenes, don't they? What about defaults? What happens if I hit this? I shouldn't do it probably, but I'm going to. Okay. I'm going to show you guys if Unirock is around, possibly give me a hint. I'm going to show the whole mainstream. I'm just going to play this until Unirock shows up. You guys want to see the next my number 8 countdown of craptastic crappy movies. I'll show you if you want to see it. All right, let's craptastic up. Man, this is really weird being on another computer. I have no idea what's going on.
My list is...
What happened? Oh no, accidentally hit the button too fast.
Number 8.
Okay. All right, here we go. I've been catching Unirock. Oh, is Unirock podcasting tonight? Oh shoot! I hope I'm not doing it at the same time as he is. I just am trying to figure this out. This isn't exactly. Oh man, I didn't. Unirage, tell him I didn't realize he's. I know he's gonna game, but I didn't think he started. So let me. I'm just gonna keep playing this until I get some help. So that is my form of protest. I'm gonna play crappy Christmas movies until someone pays attention to my question.
Number 8 is He-Man and She-Ra, a Christmas special. Yep, that happened. So basically, as He-Man kind of started aging, they started coming up with other shows, and they launched She-Ra, which was like a female version of He-Man. It's his sister. And the whole point of these shows eventually became to just sell the toys. So He-Man would come out with a new character or a new vehicle to drive or something else that they could sell you. And then his other show, She-Ra, would do the same thing. So they're always cranking out these new characters. Well, this was like the culmination of all that. This ended up being about an hour-long commercial for everything that ever happened in He-Man. They try to squeeze every character into this special, even if it doesn't make any sense at all. They're coming together for Christmas because He-Man's mom is from Earth and wants to do Christmas. And so all these characters don't know what the heck Christmas is. And, of course, Orko is an idiot, and he's always screws up everything. I don't know why they allow Orko to even hang out. He's terrible. So he steals this ship and gets himself stranded on Earth, meets these kids who were trying to get a Christmas tree, saves them, and somehow they get teleported back. I don't know. The plot line doesn't make any sense, but basically the Horde is mad because these kids are now in Etheria, and that they bring in this Christmas idea of goodwill and love, and they can't have that. So all the evil guys team up. Skeletor and Hordak team up together to get rid of these kids. Oh my God. The storyline is just really clumsily put together in just one gigantic commercial because they just cram in every little vehicle they could and all this. So that's really all you got to know about this one. But it does take me on a side tangent because I want to talk about how much better She-Ra has it than He-Man. Like, when you watch them both, He-Man's special powers, he's strong. And all he does is break things. So, like, they need a hole in a wall, he'll punch a hole. He needs a giant robot tank, he'll punch the tank. Once in a while, he'll throw some things into space, or he'll throw people around. But you never... Oh, he throws his sword once in a while, but that's it. She-Ra comes along. Oh my gosh. So She-Ra has all these powers. Not only is she pretty much as strong as He-Man, she's a lot faster. She does acrobatics. And then she has this sword that can block anything. Even like magic, it blocks. And she can level up her horse with this sword from Spirit to Swift Wind, which, pretty much is the same as He-Man. And then her sword also transmutates things. So, like, whenever she needs whatever she wants, it becomes. Whatever's convenient for sloppy plop riding, yeah, it happens. So if she needs a shield, the sword becomes a shield. She also has a helmet, a parachute, a rope. This thing, I swear, it turns into a rope, and she can, like, use a grappling hook. It's turned into a grappling hook, a boomerang. It shoots freeze bolts. She can turn the sword to blade, which is basically like their ripoff of a lightsaber. She uses it in the Christmas special to cut herself out of a trap, and it's like this flaming sword, but it's totally a lightsaber. Ripping that off. She doesn't usually get into physical scraps unless she has to. She uses her brain to outsmart everything. And she pretty much only kills robots, right? Compared to He-Man, who's all he does is punch things. That's it. Like, what's your special power? I punch things. You know, She-Ra's got all this cool stuff, but He-Man, oh, he throws things too. So yeah, nice sexism job. And you know, although He-Man still is funnier because when they give her witty punchlines to say at the end, they're not very good. And it just really perpetuates this whole myth that women aren't funny. Sorry, you need to talk to the writers of She-Ra because her one-liners are not funny. Other than that, there's always this sexual tension between the two. Like, you're like, they're brother and sister, but there's a lot of erotic poses they seem to get into, and deep looks, and kind of innuendo all over the place. And you don't really notice when you watch as an adult how homoerotic He-Man is, but yeah, there's a lot of it, which, you know, stuff you miss as a kid, right? Anyway, oh yeah, we're talking about Christmas, so let's get back to the Christmas specials. Sorry, this had to be said.
My countdown is going to be 2. So,
stick with me.
Let's talk about that for a sec, because I appreciate you guys just hanging out watching my old clips, because I find it actually kind of funny. I haven't seen them in so long. I hope that's not narcissistic. I sit here watching my clip because it entertains me. I forgot how that I even did this. You know, I've done probably 100 stories since this thing. So when you haven't watched an old one, it's pretty funny. So I'm waiting to figure out. I did blow it up to complete full screen. Did you guys see it when it was complete full screen, when you didn't see me chatting? The problem is, I don't know what you guys are saying or chatting about. So I have a second monitor. I haven't quite figured out how to hook it up. I ordered some cables. Like, the whole idea of 2 monitors, I feel like an 80s Wall Street guy. I'm just fascinated. Like, I'll show it to you. I don't know if I can pull this thing off and show it to you, but I don't know if it'll let me. So here's one monitor. And then, boom, here's the other. And this is like the size of my hand on the monitor. It is huge. It is giganto. I had a crazy good coupon and a combination of using that purse that I talked about, and Black Friday sales, and Jesus coming down and handing me a computer is basically what, you know, I don't know what else to say. It's like it was a blessing from the universe, but I cannot get my webcam right because now it is up so high. I feel like those you know when real heavy people take pictures and they take them from above so you can't see like a double chin, or selfies, the girls that raise the selfies way up high on the sticks and take pictures. That's what I feel like talking to you guys. I'm looking straight up. Yeah. Anyway, so you guys want to watch more Christmas stuff until Unirock gets done with his shower? So we could do that. Oh, Jonar, yes, I do need a technician. I am having major streaming OBS issues. But I'm killing time, so I'm just going to play some old stuff until we get there. Selfies from above. Yes, Liz knows what I'm talking about. What's up? How come all girls know this? They all know this trick. And I remember back when I was single and I was dating on Match. This is way back, like, 10 years ago. You would always see these pictures of girls that was nothing but selfies from above. And you're like, what's that girl hiding? No body shots. Just a face. All the time from above. It's like, God, I don't trust this girl. There's no other shots. They're all staged. And now what's crazy is I didn't know girls have these apps. Do you guys know this? That ladies have these apps that they can, like, add makeup and change their skin tone and color and, like, suck off, like cellulite removal. And I had no idea these things exist. I don't know if dating's a good word, but I briefly was hanging out with this girl that she was getting ready to post a picture on Facebook, and I was like, she's like, oh, hold on, I gotta run it through this app and clean it up. And she like put makeup on herself and cleaned up her skin and changed her eyes and added like light around her eyes. She did this thing in like a minute. And I was like, what are you doing? That's so fake. You're cheating. You're so cheating. You can't do that. So, yeah, I'm apparently way behind the times because I think that's the thing now. And, yeah, I didn't know that because I'm probably, I'm probably really naive. Probably every picture out there now is all doctored and prettied up, and here I am with the hair hanging half out that's washed. It probably looks greasy because every time it's wet it looks greasy, and people will be like, you have such greasy hair, and it's like, dude, it takes like 5 hours for my hair to dry. I can't help it. So it's not grease, guys. It is wet. Wet. Anyway, yeah, screw it. You know what? We're just going to watch some more Christmas stuff until Uni Rock's ready. So this is part of my Craptastic Christmas series. I'll come back after this one is done. And we will watch my picks from... I'm counting down to the worst Christmas movie of all time. And this one is number 7.
As we go through my favorite Craptastic and weird holiday specials. Number 7 is Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever. Now, I put this one in here because even though it's craptastic, it's actually pretty entertaining. I have to admit, I like this movie. Watched the internet in the last 5 years, you know who Grumpy Cat is because he is a marketing force. And I still find him funny because I love cats. The thing about this movie is they took a woman named Aubrey Plaza, which does the voice, and to me she sounds kind of like a young Roseanne Barr, which back when Roseanne was funny. So I actually liked it. Now, what's funny about this movie is it doesn't take itself serious at all. It's a Lifetime movie, and constantly Grumpy Cat just rips on Lifetime and what a crappy network they are and what a crappy movie it is. The whole thing, it just makes fun of itself why it's in there. So for that, I gotta respect it because it doesn't try to be something it's not. It's actually a really funny movie. If you catch it, yes, it's crappy, but it's very, very entertaining, and I give this one a thumbs up if you actually want to watch something you've never seen.
I'm gonna have to reset that. Oh my gosh, you didn't even catch that?
Craptastic and weird holiday specials.
How did this go off?
Number 7 is Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever.
I feel so stupid.
Now, I put this one in here because even though it's craptastic, it's actually pretty entertaining. I have to admit, I like this movie. Watched the internet in the last 5 years, you know who Grumpy Cat is because he is a marketing force, and I still find him funny because I love cats. The thing about this movie is they took a woman named Aubrey Plaza, which does the voice, and to me she sounds kind of like a young Roseanne Barr, which back when Roseanne was funny. So I actually liked it. Now, what's funny about this movie is it doesn't take itself serious at all. It's a Lifetime movie, and constantly Grumpy Cat just rips on Lifetime and what a crappy network they are and what a crappy movie it is. The whole thing, it just makes fun of itself why it's in there. So for that, I gotta respect it because it doesn't try to be something it's not. It's actually a really funny movie. If you catch it, yes, it's crappy, but it's very, very entertaining, and I give this one a thumbs up if you actually want to watch something you've never seen. Number 6, Nestor, the long-eared Christmas donkey. Wow. All right, let's talk about this. Because if you didn't know it, the people that make the cute little claymation movies are called Rankin Bass. Later on, they go and they do animated things like the original Hobbit, they did He-Man, the Thundercats, so you're probably familiar with Rankin Bass. And like the cute little Rudolph movie that everybody loves, Rankin Bass. What people forgot was that Rankin Bass tried many different holiday movies using claymation. In this one, I guess they decided to take a Christian spin, because most of their stuff was very secular. You know, it was about Santa and reindeers and stuff. Well, this time they made one for the Christians. Let me start by saying you might as well give your kid some antidepressants, maybe some Prozac, a big box of Kleenexes, and plan on being depressed for the entire day after watching this children's Christmas special, because it is so sad and it's pretty brutal to watch. This movie is about a donkey named Nestor who has giant ears when he's born. And just like they did with Rudolph, because Rankin Bass just pretty much recycles stuff, they tortured this poor donkey to horrible ends. This thing, for like 7/8 of the movie, this donkey is just tortured. There's psychological abuse. He cries, and then because people are making fun of his ears, and then people make fun of his ears again, that he, you know, like new people he meets, and then he cries again, and then like he ends up getting thrown out, knocked out by the person that owns the stable because he's mad that he lost a sale because of his big ears, and he gets thrown out into the snow in this blizzard, and his mom goes and chases him, and basically to keep him alive, his mom sleeps on top of him and keeps him warm, but she dies. I guess it's kind of like Bambi in a way. And so this poor donkey, who's already just getting abused in the whole film, gets his mom killed in it. Merry Christmas! And then moves on, and he wanders like the land, and eventually like a cherub comes down and says that he has a special duty and God wants him to be this special donkey, and this cherub's going to lead him all the way to Bethlehem. So they go and they have some more adventures, and of course he gets made fun of more, like the camels are poking fun of him, and he cries again. Mary and Joseph show up, and Virgin Mary's pregnant with Jesus, and they need a donkey to ride to Bethlehem. So they get Nestor. And because he has giant ears, he can hear in this terrible storm, and he keeps baby Jesus warm by wrapping Mary with his ears. And so this donkey ends up being really important in being part of the nativity scene. So that's why there's a donkey in the nativity scene, because of Nestor, but of course it's never a long-eared donkey in your nativity scene. So they tried to like create kind of a Rudolph-esque Christmas special based on Jesus. Now, there's a lesson here that Rankin Bass seems to like to go to. It's like, if you're born with a mutation and everybody makes fun of you and ridicules you, that's okay, because if your mutation can be exploited and then be used for something good, everybody will like you again. So it's a very important lesson to teach kids that, you know, Rudolph gets teased, but then his nose saves Christmas. You know, Nestor's ears gets teased, but his ears save Jesus. And now everybody likes him. So if you can be useful to society, your mutation can be useful, then Merry Christmas. That's an important lesson to learn.
All right. You guys enjoying watching this? It is a formula that's horribly depressing. It is. It's totally. Let me jump back for a sec and see where we're at. Is Unirock around yet? That's the big question. If you guys are enjoying this, I'll just keep playing stuff until he comes back, because I'm actually laughing. I forgot about Nestor. Is so depressing. Holy crap, is that a tough thing to get through. And I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I just like would cry. And I was like, why did I watch this? I thought Rudolph movies were nice. All right, you guys want to keep watching this? All right, let's go. I don't remember what the next one is. Let's find out what number 5 is. This time I will learn how to share the screen correctly. This is a test run, so if I screw it up, you guys can yell at me again. Here we go, number 5. Waiting for the Unirock.
The number 5th craptastic movie is Ernest Saves Christmas. Now, if you don't know the Ernest movies, because, you know, they were made in kind of the 80s and 90s, perhaps you're young and you're watching this and you don't know who Ernest is. It was a comedian named Jim Varney that kind of did like redneck humor. He was kind of our generation's Larry the Cable Guy, but better. I know that's a tough comparison. Don't beat me up in the comments, but that's kind of what it is. I'm trying to trying to communicate to you youngins what it was like when we were young and we only had Jim Varney movies. So he made a series of successful movies called Ernest Goes to Camp and Ernest Scared Stupid, and he kind of did like holiday movies. So he does one where he saves Christmas, and it's actually really good. I just watched it again, and for a Christmas movie, it's pretty funny. Now, you gotta like Jim Varney, and there's a kind of a little slapstick humor, but he is a taxi driver. He picks up Santa at the airport, and of course Santa is there because he's aging out, and he has to pass the mantle of Santa to another Santa. So Santa arrives and tries to find someone to make the new Santa. Well, of course, there's some sort of mix-up, and Santa gets arrested, and Ernest gets his bag, his Christmas bag, and figures out he's really Santa. So the rest of the movie, Ernest is trying to save Santa and save Christmas. Now, for some reason, there's like this hot runaway girl that Jim Varney just picks up in a cab, and there's no backstory or anything. She just starts living with him and hanging out in his house, and they just never really address it. It's like, why do you have this teenage girl living with you who is a runaway, but Merry Christmas. So this weird topic and tensions in this movie, I don't know where they were going with this, and this character, some reason, is there. I guess they use her because she almost ruins Christmas and steals the bag, Santa's magic bag. So there's some really great scenes in this movie, actually. I really like the sequence where they ship the reindeer to the airport, and there's a whole storyline that goes on with that that's pretty funny. Also, they mix up Santa's name, and everybody calls him Santos, like he's the Mexican Santa Claus or something. And that's pretty amusing, too. I know that's kind of petty, but to this day, I still refer to Santa as Santos because of this movie. If you hadn't seen it, it's actually worth throwing in the pile and watching. Your kids would probably really like it. It was a lot of fun. It is crappy because it's a Ernest movie. You know, all he's going to do is say, "Hey, Vern," and make jokes about that. But for a Christmas movie, you've probably never seen it, and it's quite good.
All right, where are we at? Number 4. Do you guys want to keep going here? Let's see. So let me pop it back here to there we go. There we go. So let's see. I'm just kind of killing time and testing. If you're coming in late, I've got a new system here. I'm trying to learn how the heck to use a PC. So I'm showing some old stuff while I'm waiting on Unirock, and people are just kind of hanging out watching and enjoying it, so I'm just going to let this keep going. Oh, I used to get Ernest nightmares about his Halloween special. Yeah, Halloween was fun. Okay, so the next crappy Christmas movie we're going to talk about, I bet you guys aren't going to see this coming, because it's actually, if I remember right, it's actually not crappy, it's just what you expect for Christmas. Let's talk about it. You guys ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Number 4, Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas Special. That's right. I like this one so much, I actually own the DVD. Yeah, look at that.
If you guys are listening, that's on Netflix right now.
This is a wonderful Christmas special that if you like Pee-wee at all, or you did when you were a kid, and you've never seen this, you need to stop what you're doing and go watch this. You wouldn't believe all the famous people that are in this special. You know, at the time, you got to remember when this happened. Pee-wee's Playhouse was huge in the mid-'80s.
You guys liked it. I own the DVD,
and right at his peak, he puts this special on. So everybody's clamoring to be on this thing. And he gets people like Oprah. He gets Katie Lang, Whoopi Goldberg, Dinah Shore's in this, and she's actually really funny. And then you just got some strange ones, like Charo's in this, which I love Charo. I kind of a big fanboy Charo. If you've ever watched, you know I love Charo. Also, who shows up in this is like Little Richard and Grace Jones. So Grace Jones, probably the weirdest Christmas song you'll ever hear in your life. She like makes faces through the whole thing and she's trying to be all new wave and shows up in this skin-tight dress that's not very Christmassy. All the cast favorites are there too. You have Lawrence Fishburne as Cowboy Curtis. You have that girl who's kind of the slutty neighbor that comes over, Miss Yvonne, that she's wearing an awesome Christmas dress though. This is a great dress. And you also have Miss Renee, the Jewish lady that comes over and spies on him all the time. But what's interesting is there's a big reveal in this one that, did you know the dinosaurs that live in his wall were Jewish? Yeah, they come out in this and they're spinning the dreidel. So yeah, mazel tov to the dinosaurs. There's also lots of other great guests that I haven't even talked about, like Magic Johnson's in this. He's a cousin to Magic Screen, so that's how he gets tied in. One of my favorite bits in this is when Annette and Frankie are forced to do slave labor for Pee-wee's Christmas cards. Also, William Marshall's in this. That's right, the guy that played Blackula, the king of cartoons. I don't even know how to explain this special. There is so much going on in this special, and there's so many great jokes that it's one of my all-time favorite Christmas specials, and I watch it every year. And what's interesting is that if you get the DVD, they actually have 2 different commentary tracks, so you can listen to the interviews, and they are really funny. Like the director's talking with Pee Wee Herman, and he's explaining like what it took to put the shots together and what the celebrities like when they showed up on set. It's really funny. So this is a great gift. The good news is a lot of this, I believe, is now on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, you just watch the Christmas special. And also, I think it's all over YouTube still. They used to have clips of it everywhere. It's great. It's safe to watch with your kids. There's not an enormous amount of innuendo, as in, you know, as Pee-wee's Playhouse goes on, during his last season, it was pretty much written for adults. It got very racy. So, yeah, if you haven't watched it in a while, you might want to check that out. Pick this one up. You'll love it.
All right.
Stick with me as we go.
Let me get back to this. And all right, so we still got people here. On the list, the dinosaurs were Jewish. They had there. You saw them spinning the dreidel. Yeah, and Oprah's in it. And God, if you haven't seen this special, it is so good. It's just like a time capsule of the weirdest crap in the '80s, all in one special. And it's on Pee-wee was in these huge legal battles, Paul Rubin, and he finally got the rights to Pee Wee Herman, and then he resold his rights to Netflix, and that's why all of a sudden there was a new Pee Wee movie after like 20 years on Netflix. And Netflix bought his entire series, so you can watch Pee Wee's Playhouse, his Christmas special, and his new movies, and his old movies. So that was pretty interesting. If you guys are just joining us, I'm trying out a new PC, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I'm waiting for some help from Unirock, but he's showering. So I am just showing the best of the Christmas countdown for crappy movies. If you're like me and you love really crappy movies, well, I picked out my 10 favorite and are showing them for Christmas. Like I had made this like a year ago, and then nobody watched it really. It only has like 180 views or something, but I thought it was so funny. Like I enjoyed making it. I was laughing the whole time. And what's stupid is it took me like hours to get all the clips and the screenshots and tell the stories and watch the movies, and nobody watched it. But I still think it's funny, damn it. I did get a new PC. I'm working on it. It is it has at least double to triple the hamsters to make it run. I got some hamster kibble and I'm feeding them, and I got some carrots, and so far they're keeping up. They're streaming well. No, Liz, you're not going anywhere until you find out what number 1 is. You're gonna have to watch the rest of this. All right, let's get right down to it. We'll get down to watching the last parts.
Go through my favorite craptastic and weird holiday specials. Number 3 is on here because it's definitely in the weird category. It's called The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. Now, the reason it's on here is because if you were expecting like a Santa Claus happy special and you pick this movie up, you're going to be very surprised because it is another Rankin Bass claymation animated movie. But it was the last one they put out. I think it was like 86 or something when this came out. So they were kind of hit their peak of Christmas specials and were coming down and just putting out crap. But they put this one out, and it's based on, obviously there was a book written in I think it was like 1902, by the same guy that wrote Wizard of Oz. So everybody is still trying to wrestle with the mythos that is Santa. And they all have their different ideas about Santa. And this was his take on it. Now, if you put that aside, this is actually a really cool special and probably one of my very favorite that Rankin Bass ever did. But if you're expecting like a normal Christmas movie, you're going to be very surprised because let me paint this picture. It starts off with a bunch of immortals that are kind of like gods and lesser gods all meeting at a table, and they're deciding what to do with Santa. That Santa's finally come of age where he's going to die this year if they don't intervene and make him immortal. So first off, your kid's already going to be like, what's death? What do you mean he's going to die? Santa's going to die? You know, right off the bat, you're in this hot water. Then, so they're deciding this, and they give the backstory of how Santa came to be, that he was an orphan dumped in the woods, and that these immortals find him and give him to like a Linus to raise. And then Santa gets kidnapped by a fairy, and he gets raised as like her son. And there's a lot of confusion on how he's getting raised. And finally they say, okay, you're human. You need to see what humans do, and we're going to take you to the mortal world. And you can find out what's going on there. So they do tie in some Santa stuff. He goes to the mortal world, realizes that humans are jerks and treat kids bad, so he decides to be nice and start making toys. And the very first toy, guys ready for it? It was a cat. That's right. Santa was way ahead on the internet. The very first thing he makes is toy cats and gives them away to the kids. And of course they're huge hits. So kudos on that. He saw the future coming. But that's where kind of Santa takes a break for a while and this other storyline takes off. That there are these evil creatures who are somehow tied into being demons, and they can turn invisible. And by the way, they look just like the orcs in The Hobbit. Yeah, really stretched yourself, Rankin Bass. Way to reuse characters. So they use these orcs, and they're constantly stealing the toys so Santa can't do his job. Finally, the immortals decide they've had enough and they want to help Santa, and they go to war with these orc characters. I think they're called Wagas, and they go to war with these guys. And mind you, this is a Christmas special, right? The main immortal, the woodsman, gets this magic silver axe, which ends up disintegrating, you know, this like gargoyle thing that is attacking. And another, like one of the elves or pixies or something, uses like a stick, and this dragon's flying around shooting fire at her, and she just turns around and burns the dragon to death. And so the, you know, the dragon lights on fire, and then they shrink one of them. Somehow they shrink one of the bad guys and like step on him. And so they're just murdering all the bad guys in this film. And then they go back to Santa and they're like, yeah, you're good to go. We killed everybody. And that's kind of how the movie ends. It's not really what you picture for a Christmas movie, because there's like people with axes that disintegrate people, and wow. But if you step back and you're not expecting a normal Christmas special, it's actually a really cool special, and probably I would say if you've never seen it, you should really go watch it. Just have that in mind before you start, that it's not a normal Christmas special and your kid's going to see things get killed.
All right, let's jump back in here. Number 2, we're down to the last little bit. I just haven't checked on what you guys are talking about. I'm so glad you guys are staying around to watch my my commentary. All right, Liz, it's coming up. You're only 2 away. All right. Bella Lou, thanks for joining. And Lava Girl, you're awesome for hanging this long. And Vanilla Christie, oh my gosh, look at those emoticons. It's like expert emoticons. Okay, here we go again. Here's the next one, number 2. I'll blow it up to full screen.
Oh boy, number 2, the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, of course, you knew this was going to be on here, and you're probably surprised it's not number 1. But it's kind of been, so many people have talked about it and played it out that I couldn't give it number 1. Although it is probably the most craptastic movie ever made. Now, what happened is basically the first Star Wars comes out, it's a huge hit. George Lucas doesn't really understand what he has, and he sells the rights to allow some like low budget director to make a crappy Christmas special. And it is so bad and thrown together. I mean, you can't even describe how bad this movie is. All right, so the plot line of this movie is that Chewbacca is going back to visit his family. And so they give Chewbacca a family member. He has a wife, Mala. He has a son, which they name Lumpy. Very Wookiee, right? Lumpy. and Chewbacca has his old dad there who is named Itchy. Like he's got lice problems or something. Itchy, really? So the whole series and the darkness that is Star Wars completely erased with this stupid, family there. And for the first 10 minutes of this movie, it is completely in Wookiee. So there's just like grunts and rattles that these characters are talking, and there's no translation. It's just Wookiees going, and they're just doing this back and forth for 10 minutes. I mean, right out the bat, you know you're in trouble in this movie. And then what happens is they try to awkwardly work in all these guest stars they have. So, like, to keep Lumpy entertained, they watch this, like, holographic TV of a crappy circus and some singers. And then eventually, for some reason, Jefferson Starship is in there, I guess because their name's Starship. And Jefferson Starship does like a whole video in the middle of it. So the storyline just disappears completely. Like, not that there was much of one, but they just like cram these random things in. Now, there are 2 high points to this, if you can even say they're high points, is Bea Arthur, the lady from Golden Girls. She is the bartender in the cantina, and that's actually a little funny. And Harvey Korman plays multiple characters whenever they turn on the TV to keep the kid busy, like he's doing something stupid in it. And he's actually kind of funny. What's crazy, though, is the actual characters from Star Wars show up, but I guess they didn't pay them that much because they only come in for like 30 seconds to a minute. They make like an appearance. Leia comes in and sings a terrible song. Luke, like they call Luke, and he's in this horrible makeup. He looks orange. And then Han and Chewbacca show up. Finally, the whole thing is, where are they at? Where are they at? Chewie's going to miss. I'm sorry. I forgot a major plot point is they're coming home for something called Life Day, which is like Wookiee Christmas. So they're wondering where Han is for Life Day and Chewbacca because they're together. They finally show up, and there's stormtroopers at Chewbacca's house, and Han pushes this stormtrooper off this, tree fort to his death. And it's like a Christmas special. So Han is throwing people off, this balcony to his death. It's like, Merry Christmas. And yeah, they just blow over that they killed these stormtroopers. And then they go on and, oh God, they all get together, and some reason Princess Leia sings a song. And yeah, I just saved you a lot of time. Now, for a very long time, this movie was impossible to find. It was really hard to get because they only showed it once on TV. My understanding is the original copies were destroyed, and the only people that had it were people that had VCRs back in 1977 that that actually recorded this thing. Maybe it was 79. I can't remember when this came out, but you're talking about in the 70s. They recorded this thing. So you're watching like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a VHS, and someone digitized it. So the quality is always crappy on this thing. It's really hard to even get decent pictures to show you. But George Lucas said this was the worst mistake he ever made, and he would destroy every copy if he could. And I understand why. So most likely, though, I bet you've probably seen part of this, and you can find clips of it on YouTube, but they're pretty fast at taking them down. It's hard to find. You probably have to use Kodi or something like that to watch this.
All right, the number one. We're down with it. Let's catch up with your comments. What did I miss? All right. So we're back here. I'm going to take a look at the comments before we get to number one. And I wonder if Liz stayed with us or she just left. She probably just bailed out. Okay, so this is like watching Terrence Vid with bonus commentary. It is just like behind the scenes, you know, when you spend all the money for a DVD and you get to listen to the commentary track. That's totally what it is. Iron J. Rod. Oh man, you're making me laugh. All right. I'm glad you guys. How many of you guys have seen the Star Wars Christmas special? It is so bad, man. I love crappy stuff, but man, it is actually very difficult to get through this one. What's funny was when the Mandela Effect stuff started, I actually went back and had to watch it to see if C-3PO had 2 gold legs, but of course, every time 3PO showed up, he was behind like a counter or something, so I never got to see his legs. Okay, here we go. Number one, I'm going to kick it back to full screen, and I guess Unirock's not coming, so I'll never know what happens.
And finally, my number one craptastic movie, Mystery Science Theater 3000, their version of Santa Claus. And that's the entire title. It's just Santa Claus. So what happened was in the this was made in the late 50s. I'm not positive about that, but they come out with a movie called Santa Claus, and it's made by a Mexican director. So it's super low budget. It's this Mexican film, and it is a Mexican slant on Santa Claus. So it's very Catholic oriented. There's some big differences in Santa mythology. Since this is Catholic oriented, Santa talks about Jesus all the time, and he sets up a nativity scene. He also lives in a castle on a cloud, not at the North Pole. And he doesn't have elves, he just has an army of slave children that do all of his bidding. The plot for this Christmas movie is pretty different than other Christmas movies. Santa fights the devil. So, actually it's not the devil, it's one of the devil's minions named Pitch, like Pitchfork. This all starts out when Santa accidentally lights some sort of firework that summons a devil. The devils appear in hell and start dancing because apparently they like to dance in tights, and they do a big musical number that's very reminiscent of Staying Alive. And then Lucifer starts yelling at this devil Pitch. He commands Pitch to go up to the earth and get children to do bad things. If not, he threatens Pitch that he'll feed him ice cream and chocolate, which apparently hurts demons, and then Pitch begs him for forgiveness and tells him he's lactose intolerant and couldn't handle that torture. That's really the plot. I'm not making this up. And Pitch pops up in this video over and over and over and tries to convince little kids to do bad. You know, this guy's like in a leotard and horns and crappy makeup. He goes around. But the movie actually starts with Santa Claus singing. So Santa has like this organ, and he's playing it, and he's making all these weird faces on it, and a country will appear. It'll say like Japan, and these little kids will come out, and they'll sing some Japanese song, and they're all dressed up in Japanese clothes. And what happens, I guess they ran out of kids, and they're filming it in Mexico, so these are Mexican kids, and they just recycle them. So like there's like an African one where they paint them black, and there's like Mexican kids that are supposed to be Japanese and Chinese, and it's just terribly, terribly done, and it's torturous to watch. It is so torturous. You're like, holy crap, I can't believe these songs are still going on, because it's like 10 to 15 minutes of the opening of the movie. I mean, it just keeps going, and you're like, surely they're going to stop. And they spent all their money like on this one set. They got to use this set, and they keep coming up with all these countries for these little kids to sing, and it is so bad. It's like Santa's little slave children that he's captured and makes them sing, because they don't look like they're having a good time in the movie. They're all, they all have frowns on their face. I wish I knew the whole story of how this was made, but I bet it was a good story. Let me give you a better idea of what I mean. Santa has a magic workshop that has these magic machines, and this machine can hear, can see, and it can spy on children. Although it's a pretty damn creepy machine, it looks like some sort of oral pleasure device that you would see in Japan. The other thing is it has an all-watching eye, like the Eye of Sauron, that watches children to tell if they're good or bad. And they can hear everything you say as well. Although this is just an ear taped to an oscillating fan, I'm pretty sure. So high special effects. What's different here, too, is Santa doesn't have real reindeer. They're mechanical reindeer that he has to wind up with a key. And the reindeer come to life, and they're very creepy. I mean, look, there's pentagrams in the background. I mean, what does that tell you? They come to life, and they just start laughing maniacally. And it's a scary scene for a kid. And, of course, it's super high special effects, right? Wait till you watch this crappy movie. It's terrible. So anyway, the movie goes on, and you have to watch again the Mystery Science Theater version of this, because although I saw the original when I was a kid, it's not even as funny without the commentary. Mystery Science Theater makes this so funny. And what's great is it's all over YouTube. I'll link it to what I can find out there, but YouTube's always taking stuff down. So hopefully it's here. If not, every once in a while it appears on Netflix. There's some minor subplots. There's a rich kid who really wants his parents to be home for Christmas Eve, but they went out partying. So Santa shows up and slips them some sort of roofie or some sort of Bill Cosby drug and gets them to remember that, oh yeah, we have a kid at home. And they go home. They also throw in another plot line. Why not? The devil also steals Santa's magic flower that lets Santa become invisible and sneak around. So now everybody can see him. And then he steals his bag of sleep powder that he uses to keep little kids asleep when he sneaks in their house. Pitch then lets a dog loose, which chases Santa up a tree. And since Santa can't turn invisible anymore, he's worried that everyone will see him and he'll be exposed. Pitch wants to expose Santa, so he appears to this sleeping couple, whispers in their ear, and tells them there's a man outside in a tree who wants to murder them. The couple then pulls out a gun and argues about which one of them will be the one to murder Santa. Nothing says holiday Christmas special like talking about murdering Santa. So you think there's no way out of this, and Santa's going to get exposed. But in the last 2 minutes of the movie, they introduce a whole new character, Merlin, who's in Santa's workshop. And Merlin saves the day and saves Santa. So, total sloppy writing. It's like, how did we get Santa out of this? Well, you know what? Let's just bring Merlin in. So if you're looking for a Christmas special that has Jesus, Santa, Merlin, and the devil, then this one's for you. So in the end, it was really lazy writing that saved Christmas. Now, the end of this... oh, God. The end of this movie is... Pitch is trying to convince this girl, Lupita, to steal a doll she really wants because she's poor. And they remind you she's poor, like... Every 10 minutes, they talk about how poor she is. It's really, really not ethical at all. It's like, you poor little kid, And she doesn't steal the doll, so Santa rewards her by getting the doll. So that's pretty much the entire plot. Except one last thing. Santa still has to get back to his castle in time before the sun rises, or like vampires, his mechanical deer will just turn to dust and fall apart, and Santa will get trapped on Earth and starved to death. I'm not making this up. That's the real plot line. This movie It is painful and it limps along in so many places, but it's so entertaining. If you just go into this knowing that it's so bad, that you will have a great time watching this. So I hope it's probably something you've never ever seen and very few people have. I hope you'll go check out my #1 because it's terrible. Also, check out all my holiday stories. I put them in a playlist that this is in. So you should be seeing it right now. There's some other holiday stories I've done. Enjoy.
Okay, there you go. You made it through all 10. I don't know what to say. I mean, you guys feel like... Oh, Liz came back. Yes. And you like the commentary, right? I'm telling you. Okay, I believe it's still on Netflix. It used to be, but you got to watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version because it's so much funnier. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is oh boy. The original had some really, really excellent episodes, followed with about 80% terrible episodes. So that was it. So anyway, it doesn't look like he is going to come to help me with this. That movie is actually called Santa Claus. That's it. Santa Claus. And you got to look up the Mystery Science Theater 3000 of it. It should be on Netflix. It was last year. I haven't checked it in a year. If it's not, you could probably find it on YouTube. I'll have to see. Yeah, it's so... Wait till you see the opening scene. Just how unbelievably racist the opening scene is. Oh my God. They didn't have African children, so they just painted Mexican children black and stuck them out there. It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, man. Like, the stuff they couldn't get away with now, because I didn't know this was a thing. There's until last year, the people kept talking about SJWs, and I thought they were talking about single Jewish women. I didn't know they meant social justice warriors. So that's like a thing now, apparently. So yeah, they would never allow this movie to be made. There's no way. Ah, a donation. Oh my gosh, it's been like a month since somebody donated. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a cold Christmas. Oh, look, you got a little lava girl. You got the Hypno Cat came up for you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to probably split here in a sec to figure out what's going on here with... I really wish I could have gotten a hold of Unirock so I could figure out how to shrink and put this screen in here. I don't know how to do it. I can kind of rig something up, I think. Maybe. I'll have to figure it out. I really appreciate it. So again, the big ones you need to see: Mystery Science Theater 3000, Santa Claus, Pee-wee's. If you haven't seen Pee-wee's, I mean, you need to watch that tonight. It is hilarious. It is totally a time capsule of 1985. You'll be like, I cannot believe, he's treating Whoopi Goldberg like that, or he's bashing Oprah on this Christmas special. It was hilarious. Those were the big ones I would see. The other Rankin Bass ones I talked about, they're interesting. They're worth seeing if you have time. That one's good. As far as craptastic goes, I would say those are probably my two favorite picks. I forgot what number 10 was. Do you guys even remember where we started? I don't even know. These things are terrible. I don't know. Let's see if I wonder if this is recommending. There is a one I did on weird ornaments. Oh, wait. Wow. Okay. It's not even in my own list. That's terrible. I do have You Might Officially Be Old if you want to watch that for a minute. Alright. So, I don't know. Do you guys want to watch one more, or are you done? You're probably done. I would think. We'll save this for another
I really
night,
know
maybe.
my own.
I don't know. Look, my hair's short and I don't even have a beard. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm seeing, can you? Hold on. Doop. Oh, wait. What is going on, man? I went to full screen with this? I'm like just stumbling around at this point. Alright. I wish I could find. I need to find my Christmas playlist. I have a whole holiday playlist. This is kind of fun.
Figure out if we are officially old or not.
Watch it up for a minute.
Thanks for joining me for another Tearing It Up Tuesday, where I just talk about whatever I feel like and whatever's on my mind. And what got this whole thread started was I think I'm officially old because I actually yelled at some kids for being on my lawn the other day, and wow, after I was done, I just had this weird feeling and I had to contemplate, am I old now? I actually yelled at some kids for being on my lawn. So I decided to put together some tests, and let's see how many of these you agree with, and maybe you're old with me. Let's find out. If you actually own a tablet, but you use it to write notes on the back instead of actually using the tablet, yeah, you're probably old. Oh, and that note, if you actually still know how to write with a pen and your handwriting's pretty good, you might be old. If you find yourself yelling at kids in your lawn or chasing off skateboarders, keeping kids out away from your porch, you're probably pretty old. If you still get excited to get a mixed cassette tape, like I still think cassette tapes are still pretty cool, even though I don't think I've had a tape cassette player in quite a number of years, I still want those mixed tapes. They're cool. I won't throw them away. You still know a few phone numbers by heart. There was a time where I think I knew close to 40 to 50 phone numbers off the top of my head.
That's funny.
And now I barely know my own. So maybe I'm still young on that one, but there's some of you out there that still know all your original friends and family's phone numbers from, 30, 40 years ago. I'd be really impressed if you still know phone numbers today, though. If you lost your cell phone, if you could actually call someone. Yeah, heaven forbid, don't go to jail, because you get one phone call, I don't know anyone's phone number. Your favorite movies wouldn't exist because of technology. Let me get a little deeper into this one. I was watching Home Alone with like a little kid, and the whole premise of the movie is, he's trapped home alone and he can't get a hold of anyone. And the little kid I'm watching with is like, why doesn't Macaulay Culkin just use his cell phone? And you're like, well, there wasn't a cell phone back then. And, you get that confused look, kind of like a dog cocks their head. What do you mean there was no cell phone? Well, why didn't they just send an email to their parents? Well, there really wasn't email either. So, like, a lot of your movies that you really enjoy now could be just completely ruined by someone owning a cell phone. The whole plot line's just disrupted. Yeah, you're probably old. You still really want a CB, and you want to learn how to speak CB language, just so you can say things like over a niner. Even though cell phones have probably made CBs completely obsolete, man, they were so cool when I was a kid. We would save up all this money, and we had CBs that we would call each other on driving to school, and the thing only had like a mile radius. So you only got to talk to each other for about 30 seconds to 1 minute as you crossed. But man, it was cool. We could call each other on CBs. And if you still want one today and you still think they're cool, you're probably pretty old. You might be old if, one, you know how to use a map and you own a map, but two, if it physically hurts you if somebody folds this the wrong way. Like, your friends, we'd always take these maps out and you'd open them up, and oh my gosh, if you didn't fold them the right way when they came back. My grandfather, you want to watch someone in pain, fold a map incorrectly in front of him and just watch him like freak out. It's like eating a Kit Kat the wrong way, where you just take a bite instead of eating each bar. That's what people feel like when you fold a map in front of them the wrong way. It hurts them. I can't even do it for this demonstration because it hurts me so bad to fold it the wrong way. You might be old if you get really, really excited over retro video games in like restaurants and public areas. I remember being in a restaurant and I just was like, oh my gosh, they have Defender, and I'll put in all this money and Pac-Man, and you're just throwing quarter after quarter, because those games are hard. They're no joke back in the day. And, you know, like a kid today would just be like, why are you doing that? I could pay 99 cents and have this on my phone for free forever. And, you know, you're shoveling in all these quarters to play Pac-Man. But I still get really excited about video games when I see them. I think I'm old. You might, you might be old if you refer to every MP3 player out there as a Walkman. I am so guilty of this. I'll be like, you know, hey, get my Walkman from the front of the car. You know? And it's, you know, I'm talking about my iPod, or I still refer to everything as a Walkman, and I'm not going to stop. All right, you might be old if you still have a collection of VHS tapes that you're just holding on to, even though you haven't owned a VCR in like 10 years. You just refuse to throw those out. It's like, man, I recorded Battle of the Network Stars. Nobody's taking this and the A-Team from me. You know, I can't tell you how long I've held on to some VHS tapes. You might be old if you still get nervous before you make a long-distance call. I still have not adapted to the fact that you don't have to pay for long distance, no other charge. So, like if I'm physically dialing in a phone number or something, I'm always like, is this long distance? Oh yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. I still kind of get really nervous about long distance calls, and I don't think that's ever going to go away. You talk about a terrorizing thing. Oh man, do you guys remember long distance, how expensive it was just to call? I remember them being like, okay, you know, you can talk to your relative, but you've got 30 seconds, go. You know? You had to file everything in 30 seconds and then pass the phone. Oh, man. It used to be so expensive, too. It's crazy. You're officially old if you always reach for a calculator instead of you. Thanks for joining me for another...
All right, guys, if you'll hang with me for a few more minutes here, I'm going to close out in a sec. I don't know if anybody's enjoying... I still got few viewers here, but I'm gonna have to close this out. This is going a lot longer. We'll pick this up another time. How did you even find that emoji? Seriously, Vanilla, really? There's a VHS emoji. Thanks so much. Oh, let's see, where was I on that? Actually, you know what? We've only got a few minutes left. Do you want to finish this out? We'll finish this out and then we're done. So 4 more minutes here. All right, let's do it.
Old if you always reach for a calculator instead. Oh man, it used to be so expensive too. It's crazy. You're officially old if you always reach for a calculator instead of using like your computer or your cell phone. I still do this all the time. I don't know why. I just don't like using the computer. It's hard to get into the program and it just doesn't feel so. I will actually get up out of my desk and go get a calculator to make a calculation when obviously, you know, it's right there in front of you on 3 other different devices. I'm archaic.
Big bonus points if you actually have a pocket calculator and use the term pocket calculator when you talk about it.
You might be old if all the music stinks except for the music you grew up with. Everything, like I don't think I've listened to music since 1990. Everything I listen to, it might as well be that there was some sort of rip in space-time because nothing past 1990 I ever listened to. It's terrible. And you get special bonus points for being old if you still use a checkbook to check out in a line and you feel no guilt about it. Like you don't care that you're holding up everyone else to write a check, because I don't know if you've seen someone write a check, but it's like a huge process now. They have to take this check, put your name on it, your address, circle a bunch of things like your phone number on it, run it through a machine, pop the thing back out, put it like in a special drawer, and then, you know, give you a receipt. So if you still rock a checkbook, man, you're old and you're still kicking it. Congrats on that. You're really old if the first idea that comes to mind when you're selling something is to go to the newspaper and put a classified ad in. I don't think I put a classified in the paper since almost 2000. I mean, I was using Craigslist way back in the day, but there's still, or, you know, you're really old if you still get a newspaper. I don't know anyone that gets a newspaper, but if you are, man, you're rocking it old school. So if you use the classifieds, bonus points on that. I'm sure I probably left some other really important tests to confirm that you're now an old person, an old geezer. So if you want to leave.
Okay. That's the end of that one. I appreciate that. I know you guys are all crying in that. I appreciate you hanging. Oh man, look at Vicky. You still remember everything, all that. That's hilarious. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go split. You guys can go hang out in the Afterglow chat if you want, but I am glad that this is sort of successful. I just can't quite get everything up running the way I want. So I will try to get in touch with Unirock. Let me jump back here to myself here. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for helping me, and I will see you in a few days. I actually need to transfer all my videos and equipment and all that. Like all the, I have to learn how to use a whole new video thing for PC instead of Mac, and that's going to be a big ordeal. But I need to come off the Mac habit. I'm gonna jump back. So, thank you guys. I love y'all. I appreciate it. Thanks for the donations today. And I will see you real soon. Stay oh, if you're going to go shopping, make sure you swing through my Amazon. That always really helps. You'll see the description in here. I really appreciate that. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. Hey, cat. Is he going to come? Someone was asking for the cat, but he just did a cat drive-by. So there you go. That's all you get. He's tough. All right. Thank you so much.